This is a review of a movie called Knock at the Cabin. I'm going to spend most of the time in this video talking about M. Night Shyamalan, and there's not really anything you can do about it. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, red subscribe button, notification bell. That way you know whenever I post a new piece of content. Okay, let's review our buddy M. Night Shyamalan's filmography, according to Wikipedia. 1992, Praying with Anger. I have not seen that movie. 1998, Wide Awake. I have not seen that movie. This is where we start getting into the M. Night movies that I have seen. 1999, The Sixth Sense. This movie was, I would call it viral pre-social media. Everyone talked about this movie for like a month straight, and the internet was still very much in its infancy in terms of, its expanse and reach. And so you just had to talk with your friends about it. I remember every single second of this movie in the theater. I remember where in the theater I was sitting. I remember who I went with. I remember which theater in Hilton Head, South Carolina I saw it in. Movie's great. Movie is great, and it has some issues with the plot and some fairly glaring plot holes, but the overall story, the way it's handled, and the ending are all bangers. 2000, Unbreakable. I saw this movie a couple years after it came out. A buddy of mine in Albuquerque basically forced me to watch it, and it's great. Unbreakable is an awesome comic book movie, a great superhero film, and has another really good twist of an ending. 2002 is Signs. I love the hell out of this movie. This movie for me is everything. I think Signs is great. It has some criticisms, especially regarding the ending and the CGI. Mel Gibson's performance in it is amazing. Joaquin Phoenix is rock solid. I think Signs is a great movie. I think I watched it maybe 5 years ago, and I think Signs is great. I'm gonna go back and watch it again and see how it holds up. But I love Signs, and I think the people who don't like that movie are psychopaths. And now is when we start getting, he really, between The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs, I mean, those are three great movies. And now we get into the dicey territory, the lean years, as I call them. The Village. The problem I had with The Village is that my expectations were sky high. It was coming off of Signs. It had great marketing. You didn't really know what it was about, other than about this mysterious dark village in the woods, and the movie just blows. It's not a good movie. People defend that movie until they're blue in the face. I know several people who cite that movie as their all-time favorite movie. Dave Myers, I'm looking at you. I think The Village is trash, and I will say everything negative I can about that movie, because it was just disappointing, especially after Signs. And it didn't handle its ending well. It didn't handle anything well except the love story. Lady in the Water I have not seen. People either love or hate that movie. There's not really any in between. The Happening sucks, and if you like it, you belong in prison. The Last Airbender actually made a ton of money, but I don't know anybody who liked that movie. I have not seen it. After Earth, I remember watching the trailer for that in 2013 and it immediately being out. It was not well received. I didn't understand what M. Night was trying to do with that. It seemed like it was just kind of thrown in there. The Visit, I have heard very good things about. I also own that movie and have not watched it yet. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow and then review it next week. But probably not, because I need to see Scream 6 this weekend. Split, great movie, really back to form for him, and an ending that is dynamite, and then sets up his next movie, which did not live up to the hype. That's Glass. Just call it ass. That movie's not good. Old was fine, but not great. Old was like M. Night kind of trying to get back in the swing of things and mostly missing. I reviewed that movie too. It's very forgettable. So now we get to Knock at the Cabin. And I think this is probably the best movie he's done since the best movie he's done since Split. And it's probably as good as that movie for me. I was really I had low expectations, right? The guy had this 3 years where he was putting out incredible movies, and then after that, his career just kind of middled for a while and has been really, really up or down. Um, so it's a movie about the end of the world. That's what the movie is about, right? Or potentially the end of the world. It's about a gay couple on vacation in rural, middle of nowhere Pennsylvania, in a cabin in the middle of the woods, where they're there with their adoptive daughter, and a group of 4 strangers show up and basically tell them, hey, you, between the 3 of you, you have to sacrifice one of yourselves to prevent the apocalypse. Whether that is actually the case or not forms the story of the film. I'm not going to spoil it. This movie isn't really about the twist. It's not a big twist type of movie. It has some story twists along the way, but I like that this isn't one of those movies. It's not one of those movies like it's not Unbreakable and it's not The Sixth Sense. And I appreciate that M. Night doesn't try to make it that. But I think it's pretty good. I think it is pretty good. I think Dave Bautista really has kind of grown into himself as an actor and has a very understated and good performance. He's like this huge hulking man who has to it's kind of hard for him to not be taken seriously as an actor, but how can I put it? It's kind of hard to find roles for the guy because he's just this huge dude. Having him play like your everyday normal guy is tough, but this movie actually does a really good job with that. So I think M. Night deserves some credit for that. Rupert Grint is in it as kind of like a Boston area white trash redneck, and he's pretty good in what, minimal screen time he gets with the character. And the overall story of the kind of their relationship as a couple is told in flashbacks. And there's actually some really good stuff here in terms of character development. And I can't spoil it, but I would say this is probably it's definitely one of his better movies. It's certainly not The Happening. It's not Signs, but it's also not The Sixth Sense or Unbreakable. This movie is pretty good, and hopefully this leads to better things from him. M. Night is such a capable guy. I mean, like if you look at his filmography, he has these incredible movies, but then these movies that are complete trash. And this seems like maybe he's on the up and up a little bit. I would love to see him sort of get a career, a late, mid to late career resurgence. He's not that old. I think he's like 52. And I would love to see him grow as a director and kind of start doing some different things. He touches on a lot of the same things he does in his previous films here. And I would love to see him branch out and do maybe something bigger scale, maybe something even smaller scale, get into some different genres. And we'll see. This is kind of his thing. And this is a pretty good movie. So M. Night, please, please, please give us more Signs, Unbreakable, and The Sixth Sense, and less of The Happening, and less of Glass, aka Ass. I'm just going to call it Ass from now on because that movie's not very good. Thank you so much for checking out this review, though. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I completely way off base? Give me your ranking of M. Night movies in the comments. That would be a really good time, and I would be in the comments a lot if you did that. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.